Hello and welcome to this session of the active and the passive voice. This video serves mainly as a form of revision, so please just recap. If you still have questions when you're done with this session, you know how to get hold of me. Let's get to it. Right, the active voice. What is the active voice? It is a statement. In fact, it is a direct statement which indicates who is doing the action. The person doing the action is named at the beginning of the clause or the sentence. It is clear from the beginning who or what is doing the action. Let's take a look at the example sentence you see in front of you. It says, the student writes 1 page in her diary every day. Who is the doer of the action? Well, we find the verb, the word is writes, and the one doing the action, that's right, the student. The student appears first in the sentence. This is called the active voice subject. Another way of writing a statement is using the passive voice. In the passive voice, we do not necessarily indicate who does the action. It is often considered more formal and it is used in official documents. The verb to be is used as well as the past participle. When writing the sentence, look at the example. 1 page is written by the student in her diary every day. What we have done here is we've taken the object from the previous sentence, we've shifted it to the front, and this becomes the subject in the passive voice. The verb form has to change. Notice that the tense stays the same, and the words by the student may now be left out as indicated in the brackets. The remainder of the sentence, in her diary every day, must be there. All information must be present when changing from the active voice to the passive voice. Right, let's just quickly have a quick note about the verb. When we are changing from the active voice to the passive voice, we must make use of auxiliary verbs. The verb to be must be part of that. And here on the block on the right, you can see the different ways the verb to be can be written. They are used to show the tense. Am, are, is. Those are your typical present tense indicators. Was, were, past tense indicators. We've still got be, being, and been as well. Remember that in English we have 12 tenses. One of the most common ways of working with the active and the passive voice in the exams is to ask the learner to change the active voice sentence to the passive voice. It is a fairly simple process to follow. Look at the 5 steps indicated on the left. Firstly, identify the verb, underline it, divide the sentence into subject, verb, and object. Just a side note there, an active voice sentence without an object cannot be changed to a passive voice. The next thing you do is you move the object of the original sentence to the position of the subject. Then you change the verb accordingly. Please be aware of the tense. And finally, you fill in any additional information. Let's have a look at this example. There I have divided the sentence into subject, verb, and object, and I have underlined the verb just to be clear. Then we move the positions. Look at how we've changed it. 1 page is written by the student, and the remaining information in the sentence must still be included in her diary. Remember what we said earlier, you can leave out by the student. The passive voice does not need to show who is doing the action. Okay, it's your turn. Here are 5 sentences I want you to try. Write them down in your workbook. Push the pause button. Change them from active voice to passive voice. When you are done, push play. Sentence 1. I have finished the job. The answer, the job has been finished. The object, the job, moved to the position of the subject. And we change the verb, have finished, to has been finished. The tense stays the same. Look at the second sentence. They sent the parcel on Monday. Find the direct object, the parcel. So the parcel was sent on Monday. I've left out the they. If I wanted to, I could have said by them. They becomes them when we change that. Let's look at number 3. Everyone liked the idea. The idea was liked. I think that one is fairly straightforward. Number 4, he was painting the roof. The roof was being painted. We could say by him. Notice that here we are using the past progressive tense. Number 5, maybe a trickier one. Let's have a look. A lawyer oversees the drawing up of a will and testament. The drawing up of a will and testament is overseen by a lawyer. Yes, that entire part is the object, the drawing up of a will and testament. Even though drawing up sounds like a verb, in this case it is used as an object. We don't have to include the words by a lawyer in this answer. Another way of asking questions regarding to active and passive voice in the exam is to ask you to change it from passive voice to active voice. Try these two. Pause the video. When you've done your answers, press play. Let's look at the answers for the passive to active voice. This portrait was painted by my grandmother. My grandmother painted this portrait. Simple past tense in the verb. Sentence number 2, short stories are written by her. She writes short stories. Please make sure that the pronouns are used appropriately. You've got to switch her to she, him, he, and so forth. It might happen in an exam where you are given a sentence, such as the one here, the ball is kicked. This sentence does not show who does the action, but then you are asked to change it to the active voice. The active voice must always start with the subject who is doing the action, but it is not clear who does it. If this happens, just try to put in a logical pronoun. He kicks the ball. You can go with she kicks the ball. They kick the ball. The options there are yours, but please make sure you do add a suitable pronoun. For you to continue doing the tasks set out to you, keep an eye on Moodle for the marking guidelines.